All right. Everybody, welcome to Historically Black Sense. Hey, we finna get into it. We have I don't even know how to start. Some amazing guests today on the show. I mean, you don't want to miss it. Tune in through the whole thing. It's gonna be some gems dropped. It's gonna be some people who's on the upper echelon of a scale that you didn't even know. So let's get to it. We're gonna start with Mr. Apex Films, as you all see. Mr. Donald Crenshaw.
Yes,
Glad
sir.
to have you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. We're pretty excited to be on your show. And
Hey, we're excited to have you.
yeah, man, this is our first interview as a part of the cast. Everyone is not here, but this is the first interview, and we're glad to be a guest on the show.
Hey, sounds good. Sounds good. Like I said, we're glad to have you. We're glad to have everyone. So let's jump right into it. For those who don't know, historically black sense, we normally gear it towards HBCU grads or current students, as well as D9, uh, I guess D9 members, or if you got any other organization that you may be a part of within the HBCU or a Black Greek letter organization. Let's get into FAMU first.
Yes, sir.
What out of everywhere, every HBCU out there, why FAMU?
I'm a rattler through in and throughout. I grew up in Tallahassee.
Okay, grew up in
Several
Tallahassee.
family members that attend FAMU. I have a brother who's one of the superstar football players there. And of course, just the music department. And earlier getting to know Dr. White years ago, just interesting. So I had the opportunity to hang out with a lot of the music majors. It was just a thing, hearing the March 100 on the hill and living not too far from it and hearing it echoing all over the city. How could you not? I mean, if you ever lived in a city where you hear the HBCU band practicing, you kind of drawn into it. And I would imagine that's in any city where there's one of those types of bands and you get to hear the actual practice.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will say if you've never experienced the HBCU around you, ever been to a homecoming, ever been to any HBCU event, it's like no other. It's electrical, especially the homecomings and the classics and the rivalries. It's electrifying to say the least. So I totally understand how you could, outside of you just being a Tallahassee guy, I can see how you would be swindled in to FAMU, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did FAMU have I guess, any type of effect on you becoming a filmmaker?
No, FAMU it was all the influence of music. It wasn't until I
Mm,
started working at Dark Studios as during my internship there and becoming an assistant under Dallas Austin, um, and him being an executive producer of Drumline. That was my introduction to wanting to be into film production. Didn't know how it would happen or when it would happen, but it did later on. And so I was first inspired by him being a musician and becoming a producer of Drumline. And
wow, wow, wow. So we're not gonna just skip past that. Drumline,
yeah, I have
one
nothing
of
to do
the
with it. I was exposed and influenced by
okay. By that being one of the top movies of its time. Drumline was actually one of my favorite movies at the time.
it. Right.
So, at what point did you say, "Hey, I want to get into this"? Because you could be inspired by it, but it's also normally a turning point. It's also a pivotal point that says, "Hey, look, I want to do this." Because you can be around, I can be around music all day, and I can say, "Yeah, I love music," but I can also be around a certain artist or hear a certain artist record or make a song and say, "Hey, this was the moment that I knew I wanted to get into music." But in your case, film, what was that pivotal point to you?
Well, is I was working at DARP and I got a call from my cousin, Reverend Robert D. Provitt. Uh,
Mm,
he called me and said, "Man, look, I'm working on a script. Would you like to help?" At the time, I had no thought of it, but I said, "Okay." And we began to work on it. I contribute my humble parts to the project, and it started off as the step show, and it became Stump the Yard once it went into the hands of Rainforest Films. And because of that, I was exposed and influenced, and I began to meet other fellow filmmakers in Atlanta. One particular guy is Carl Millender, and that was my introduction into actually getting into the production end of it, learning to operate cameras, lighting, and understanding that by learning to be an engineer up at Dark Studios, that I could then take that into the field of filmmaking, doing sound and audio for feature films. And so that's my introduction into composing and writing for movies. So I have a few independent projects, but this is going to be my biggest, the first major project that I'm producing as a independent filmmaker.
Wow. Okay. Let's take it back one step. You got a call from Robert Probert, right?
Yes.
Who is?
He was my cousin.
Your cousin, Robert Probert.
Yes. He's since passed. This project, Girls on the Yard, was a project that he came up with the title. And the thought is, okay, we'll sell for Stump the Yard, but we're going to say the best for us. And it's taken 12, almost 13 years for it to materialize. And honestly, I would think about it, but I never sat down to actually write it. And I got a call from one of our mutual friends from Oklahoma. And he called and he said, hey, man, I had a dream. Your cousin came to me in a dream and stood by my bed and touched me on the shoulders and told me to get in touch with you to tell you to start working on Girls on the Yard. And immediately I began at that point. And so we've not been on this project a year in putting it together. We're now in pre-production, and here we are speaking with you. So it lets you know how divine the project is and how it's becoming. There was no traditional way of casting this project. It was done quite different from your norm. So a lot of the cast members and the producers came, I think, from a very divine position to be a part of the project. And so we're looking for some great things with this project in the near future.
Why did it sit on the shelf for so long?
Well, after he passed, it was always a thought in my mind, but I could never fathom on how to do it because the only thing that was left was the title. And I've had people to say, man, Girls on the Yard sounds like a prison movie, and to try to convince me to change it. And it's like, nah, it's more than just a title. And so it's something that he left with me. Once I got the call, I started writing and just sitting. The energy just kind of took its course and putting it together. And I took me about 30 days to write it. And I would leave my house and go to Panera Bread every day for 2 or 3 hours and come back home and write after my children are asleep, 11 till about 2 in the morning to get it done. And of course, I couldn't put this great cast together without having the blueprint on paper.
Absolutely. Well, that is a very interesting way of it manifesting and, coming to the forefront that someone had a dream and said to get in contact with you about something that was already in play in some capacity 13 years prior. Right. I think that's amazing. I think that's definitely a sign to make something happen.
Absolutely.
And I won't say try, because I mean you can't make that up. You can't write that any better. Yeah. That's crazy. I'm glad you decided to go ahead and do it. So an untraditional way of casting the cast.
Right. That's exactly.
How did you go about doing that? If you don't mind giving that particular secret away, because y'all know you normally go in for your auditions and You may get a call back, or you may get 1, 2, 3 callbacks. However it goes, it's different ways for different casting directors, different directors. So how did you go about getting this amazing cast? And I'm going to say amazing because I already know that the film is going to be great. So how did you go about that?
Remember, we've been in a pandemic, so and me not being in Atlanta, I decided to search online, Instagram, Facebook, and of course I had other people like Abdul Chestnut, who was also an associate producer on the project, knew a few people, but everything was done digitally online. So that's pretty much how I ended up putting the cast together. I've not met anyone face to face. Everyone we've connected solely online and on the phone, and it's amazing how the spirit operates. So I connected with these individuals over a period of months, talking and feeling the energy and choosing carefully for people to be placed in certain positions.
That's very interesting. I would think that would be pretty hard to have a cast that you haven't met in person, throughout this time, and to actually just, I guess you would have to trust what you see.
Well, a lot of pictures and Zoom.
Okay, that's a very unorthodox way of casting. But however, hey, we're in a different time right now, so you made it happen.
Absolutely, and I would say that I'm a very unorthodox individual. I believe God. I trust the Spirit, and I can listen to tones. I can look into a person's face. It's spiritual, so it's beyond the physical. You know what I mean? So I've seen enough to know who I have, and just great energy, man.
Absolutely. Sounds good. So we have some other amazing individuals here on this call. So I'm about to get into some questions with them. I want to start with the producer, Mr. London Williams. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Wonderful. Can't complain at all. I want to start off by asking, how did you get this title of producer?
Actually, it's interesting you say that. I actually met Mr. Crenshaw through RASB. He was telling me about the project, and he said, "Hey, I can't really talk to you too much. You have to talk to him first and see if it's something you may be interested in." So once he introduced me to him, I gave him a call, and we kind of talked about the project. I was immediately interested in it, first of all, because it's a great script, a great idea. He just pitched a synopsis to me. I didn't get a chance to read the script yet, but when he told me what the synopsis was, I said, "Wow, this is really right on time to do a project like this." And then at that point, I was like, "Yeah, I need to see the script because I'm not producing anything until I see the script." And then he was like, "Okay, hold on." And one thing about it is that when you share your script, it's like sharing the child to the world, So everything is confidential, everything is private, but you got to go through the appropriate protocols before you start sharing scripts anyway, with the NDAs and put all that stuff in place to make sure nobody tries to come with Girls in the Yard Part 2 before you. You know what I mean? But it's just a great project, and the truth be told, Mr. Crenshaw is a great guy to work with. I always try to fill out people's energy before I work with them.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and he had the right energy. He was honest. He was like an open book. He didn't try to hide anything. He told me where he was, and I said, "Okay, good. I really like you as a person. I like the project. Let's make it happen."
Hey, fair enough. So, for RASB to even connect you all, and for people watching who may not know RASB, a member of one of the great groups, I would say, of my time, one of the R&B groups, B2K. So shout out to RASB, shout out to all of those guys. He had to have some sort of faith to even connect you, to even put his name on it, because everyone on this particular interview, we all know people. Yeah. And anytime that we refer someone or put someone in contact with another person, our face and our name is also on the line with that. So what is it that you've done in the past that Raz may have known you from and said, "Hey, I think this would be a great connection"? So just kind of run down your history a little bit of the film world.
Yes, I met Raz through it's interesting. I met Raz actually at a music event through my artist Jay Humble. She was actually performing. Well, she knows a guy by the name of Peter down in Houston, and he was having an event, and that's how we actually connected with Raz at that event. And then at that point, Raz knew that I was producing movies and working on films, and he was like, "Great!" So we kind of went back and forth. He told me about some movies that he worked on in the past, and I showed him some stuff that I was doing. But at the same time, when he made a connection between me and Mr. Crenshaw, I was actually in New Orleans at the time working on a film with Pierce Brosnan. Uh, and I also had a film that was recently just coming out. It's called Bid for Love. It's on BET Plus right now. It's
Hmm.
also on BET Her, and also the regular BET is called Bid for Love. So he saw that that film was coming out. He saw the quality of that. He saw that I was working on some major projects. He said, "This is a guy I could probably connect with my people as well." Because at the end of the day, it's all about making sure you're in line and with elevated people that are doing bigger things that you can try to make things happen as well. So,
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Built for Love. I'm familiar with Built for Love. So,
oh, thank you,
it's a
thank
great.
you.
I will say it's a great movie. I actually know some of your cast members on that as well. So,
Oh, who do you know? Who do you
so,
know?
Adrian.
Okay,
Um,
cool. Adrian Lockett. Yeah,
Adrian like it. Yeah, he's a Bama
Adrian.
boy too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he good
Yeah,
people as
he's a
well.
Bama boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
does
absolutely.
wonderful work.
I'm from Alabama, so actors in
That's right.
Alabama and entertainers, we all connect.
That's great.
All right, so I want to get into some more people here. Mrs. JP, what's going on? How you doing?
The way that I got involved with this project is actually by my good friend Michi. She's on the interview as well. But she introduced me to Crenshaw, who I feel like is just came at the right time. This whole project and Michi telling me about it came at like the right time for me because I felt like I was falling off of music a little bit, not wanting to do much with it and feeling like I I couldn't do much with it anymore. But everything just came at the right time, and Crenshaw came at the right time. Like Mr. Williams said, he's a very open person, open book, and he was telling me, everything that not that I wanted to hear, but everything I needed to hear. So um, that's how I got into it. But yes, it's a great experience so far. The music is amazing. I can't wait for y'all to hear it. But yeah, that's that's
Okay, cool. So, what is some of your background in music? Because once again, people don't just hop into film just like that. Some people do, but you have to have some sort of background for the most part to,
mhm.
let's be honest, when you're working on a certain caliber of a project, hey, someone has to vouch for you. So, what's some of your background with music?
Well, I started singing at 4 years old, and I've been singing since. At 10, I started playing instruments. Drum set was the first instrument I learned how to play. I don't play much anymore, but after that, I picked up guitar, acoustic guitar, and piano. I played piano in school, and then I did band in school as well. So that's a connection to the HBCU culture.
What band did you play for?
I went to Oak Brook Middle School. It's in Somerville. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, but I played for that band, and then I played at Fort Texas High School as well in Somerville, and I played on the marching
Okay.
band and concert band too.
Cool. Okay, cool. Amazing. Um, I'm gonna keep marching down the line just for time's sake as well. Michi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm amazing. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement in the project. Not too much about the character because you know how that is, but
Yeah.
whatever it is that you can share about your character. Hey, tell us the whole movie. Nah, don't do that, but let us know a little
I
bit.
cannot. I cannot. First, my name is Demetria Adrian McNeil. Sorry, excuse my niece. Um, Again, sorry. My name is Demetria Adrian McNeil. I go by Michi. I'm from. My niece says hi.
Hey.
um, I go by Michi. Say hi. I live in Charleston. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I do a lot within entertainment. Choreography is one of my strengths. Dance. I've been dancing since I was 4. Multiple styles: hip hop, ballet, tap, African, majorette. I've been dancing for a marching band since I was in 6th grade until like my junior year in college. Graduated from Benedict College, so I'm definitely a HBCU girl.
Shout out to
That's my
Benedict.
shout out to Benedict. Just got the first like esports gaming system there, which is really, I think that's big for any school, period. So shout out to Benedict. Um, I've been acting for like 10 years, modeling, pageantry, just very well versed. I got connected with this film through a friend of mine, Abdul Chestnut, who I met at a dance event in Charlotte, North Carolina, a few years ago. And um, uh, sorry, guys.
Well, we're gonna go to Mrs. What, Isis, correct?
Yes. Hi,
Okay, how
everybody.
you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good.
I
So
actually
tell us a little bit
recognize
about you.
you from we did a couple of BG things together
Oh, for real?
back in the day. Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. Hey, we done came a long way.
What? Started from the bottom, now we're here. Amen.
Now we here. Now we here. Hey, you see, it all comes full circle. We never know
It
where we're gonna
does.
run into who, where. So
Right.
that's what's up. So tell me a little bit about your journey, your involvement in the project. Yeah.
Abdul Chestnut as well. I met him at an audition and I kind of stopped film for a while. I teach dance now. I've danced since I was about 3 or 4. And then now I teach dance. So I kind of focused on dance a little while, and I said, well, I'll do film, but behind the scenes film, not acting. I didn't give up on acting. I just put it on pause for a minute. So when he sent me this audition, I was standing in for an actress at the time, and I was like, well, maybe I'll get a chance to dance in the movie. Maybe there's a spot for me to just dance and release. So I auditioned, and I actually sent them the wrong audition. And I was like, oh, I'm screwed. I was like, this is bad. This is all bad. So I auditioned again, and I guess that's how I ended up here. So I actually sacrificed film, to just give it a break for a minute to find a different avenue. And then it just came to me. So I'm very grateful that even in my time of giving it up, God saw fit to literally hand it back to me. So I'm so excited about this film. Me and my character Kelly, we are like a lot alike, but we were raised totally different, which is so strange. So I see a lot of myself in her, but then I'm like, that is not me. I don't know about that part, but it's a beautiful, beautiful film, written beautifully. I'm sure it'll be executed. I know it'll be executed beautifully, and I'm just really excited to like actually meet the cast face to face and bond with them because it's been all COVID friendly. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Okay, amazing. Now, on a lighter note, I have to ask, how do you bounce back from sending the wrong audition?
So what I said was, if you have any PA slots available, like I'm okay with that because I know at this point, I kind of messed up. And he was like, no, I don't think. He was like, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just, it wasn't what I was looking for. So I just didn't know exactly what he was looking for. But yeah, I kind of thought it was over for a minute. And I just
Well, look,
figured it. Yeah.
the main thing is that you're here. You're here, so you made it. You made the cut. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, let's slide on down to Mrs. Emily Brooklyn. How you doing? How you doing?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Oh man, so your involvement in this project. Let's talk to the people. Let them know your involvement, a little bit about your acting background, and what you look forward to getting out of this project.
Okay, so basically, I don't have a lot of acting background, to be honest. I started with breakdance when I was 4 years old, and then I've been like heavy in the battle scene. Like I've been battling my whole life with dance. And then a few years ago, I started doing music. So I do music, I dance, I teach, I choreograph, like basically like everybody else work with dancing, right? And then I've always been told that I should get into acting. Like it's something everybody has always been telling me, but I don't know. I just never really thought about it. And then out of nowhere, I get a message from Crenshaw, and he's like, "Hey, I think you'd be perfect for this role." And I was like, "Okay, so here we go." So basically, it's like pretty fresh for me, but like I have been taking like acting classes and like connecting. I have a lot of friends that are actors here in the city, so I've been like connecting with them and like getting tips. And so I'm like really excited to get into this. Actually, it's like a perfect time for me. I just had a baby not too long ago, so I kind of like went through a little trial of, do I even want to dance? Do I want to do something completely different? Like I was kind of ready to drop all of my goals, to be honest, to just be a mom. But this movie definitely came in as like a sign of like, no, keep doing what you're doing, and people are actually seeing what's going on. And so I'm very appreciative of this opportunity, and I'm super excited. I think it's going to be really dope.
I met her on Instagram. I saw her dancing in front of the hood in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh wow!
oh, that's the one. I got to get her. So I messaged her. I didn't call her. And else, like everyone else, it's all been online.
Yeah.
Wow. I will say, just to kind of put my 2 cents in, a lot of things are meant to happen, because listening to you all speak, it's like a connection with everybody in some way. Like you said, Raz connected. Mr. London Williams said Raz connected him with you, Mr. Donald. Jay Michi referred JP to the project. Isis was about to give it up and sent me in the wrong audition, but it still happened. And Brooklyn was dancing in front of a hood in Brooklyn. How was the odds of that? So, I feel like nothing like that happens by chance. And maybe that's why it's so much chemistry already without you all even meeting or seeing each other in person. So I definitely feel like it's going to be an amazing project. So what I do want to ask now is that anything that Mr. Crenshaw wants to add or say about that particular film or any other film that you've been involved in that the audience may need to know or that you may want them to know. Just talk to them and let them know.
So most of the projects that I've done sound and audio as far as major movies. There's one coming out called Verse 24. It's about human trafficking. The other one is a sci-fi movie, a group out of LA. Other than that, man, I'm just focused on Girls on the Yard, getting this project finished and into everybody's psyche to bless them with what God has given us to give to the people, man. And we're looking to go across the world with this project.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So do you have an expected, I guess, release date or date that you're aiming for?
Well, I'm hoping to release this next spring. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Okay. So next spring, man, y'all about to have a lot of long days and long nights on set. That's what it sounds like to me. But I know the feeling.
12 hour days. So they're all familiar with it. 12-hour days, you know.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely, absolutely. So now I want to start with JP, and I'm going to go down the line with everyone. Just let the people know what all you have coming up next. So, JP, what do you have coming up next? And if you don't have anything, just act like your camera went out. No, I'm playing.
She's working on a new album, Girls on the Yard album.
Yes, that's what I have coming up next. Yes, that's
There
it.
you go. There you go. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. Michi.
Hey guys, the first thing that came to my mind was Girls on the Yard.
Okay.
Girls on the Yard, guys. But definitely my nonprofit talent organization, Poor Rich Kids, will have a lot of community events going on in South Carolina. So yeah.
Okay. Ms. Isis.
I got Girls on the Yard, Girls on the Yard, Girls on the Yard. That's all I got.
All right. Cool. Miss Emily.
I have a weekly podcast that comes out on my YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to drop all of my music. I'm always posting videos of like my performances here in New York, and I just did a Harlem Gives today, like a giveaway for kids for school, going back to school, where we performed. So like I do a lot of like stuff in the community, and like yeah, it's always different things.
Okay. Mr. London. Mr. London Williams. I know you gotta have some stuff working. A lot of people behind the scenes, man, they don't say too much about what they got coming, but if it's anything that you can talk about, please let the audience know.
Well, I would say producing is a full-time job, so girls on the yard right now. Girls on the yard.
Hey,
so yeah.
The good thing about that is everybody is locked in on Girls on the Yard. So Girls on the Yard has the undivided attention.
Yes, yeah. That's yeah.
All right, so I want to get into a little fun fact about everyone. Producers, Mr. Crenshaw included, everyone. If there's, this can be a person who's alive or unfortunately deceased, but who's one? I'm going to start with Mr. Crenshaw. Who's an actor or actress that you would love to work with or would have loved to have worked with?
Well, wow. There are two. I had the pleasure of meeting Cindy Portier in his latter years. Would love to have done something with him. I did do some things with Tommy Ford, but we never got a chance to. I did sound on a movie with him for a project that he did, but we didn't actually get a chance to do a movie together. He was a producer. He was one of my partners on the Willie Lynch project, another project that I have called Connected, which is on the depiction of the Willie Lynch letter. And he was a part of that, so we didn't get a chance to finish that before he passed. Yeah, so that's another project that I plan to do after this one. A couple we have slated.
So you basically have a lot of them you got a lot of them ready to just shoot out of the cannon.
It's amazing. Yeah, I've written, but this is, this one right here for some reason has taken the flagship, and so we're going with this one.
Hey, sounds good. Miss JP, who's two people? Well, one person in music that you would love to, I guess, that you would have had a chance to work with, maybe if you wanted to, or one person that you would love to have the chance to work with.
The first person that came to mind is her, the artist Her. Yes, I feel like she's like the first person who was like me, basically. She can play a lot of different instruments, and she can sing amazingly. And I actually got the chance she actually reacted to something that I submitted to a competition that happened a while back, and that was a great experience. But definitely her. She's one of my
Wow.
big
Hey,
friends.
she's definitely an amazing talent. So hey, I can't. I have to agree with you. I can't disagree at all. Michi, I'm gonna ask: is it any actor or actress or dancer that you would love to work with, or that you would have had love to work with?
See, you since you added dancer, you just changed my whole thought process. Um,
See, I'm
now,
tailoring these questions to everybody to what they do.
is it okay if I say about five? I got a top five.
Okay. Well,
Since we
what's
add
your top
dancers,
five? What's your Mount Rushmore?
it's a combination of actors, actresses, and dancers. So definitely, dead or alive or deceased. I would love to have worked with Cicely Tyson, actress, Aaliyah, actress, singer, musician, um, Taraji P. Henson, Angela Bassett, and Sierra.
Okay, you got a strong five. You got a real strong five.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Miss Isis, what about you?
Um, ooh, okay. So Zoe Saldana, Taraji P. Henson, um, Misty. I like Misty as a dancer. Um, Megan Good, she just seems like she has a really sweet, loving spirit. And I do enjoy watching her on film. And let's see here. Kerry Washington.
Okay,
She delivers. So
she
yeah.
does. She definitely does. Miss Emily, what about you?
I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. Marilyn Monroe,
Okay,
my idol, my love. I look up to her. Yes.
okay.
Um, yeah, she's like my biggest idol for sure. I love her. I love her presence, her charisma, her sex appeal, everything. Like she was just that girl. So Marilyn for sure.
Okay. And Mr. London Williams.
Oh man, it's I would say two people that I really want to work with. I was this close to working with Morgan Freeman. Uh, so he's one of the people. You know, he works in Mobile. You got to go to Mississippi to work with him. No, he won't let you work anywhere else, but you got to go to Mississippi. So just in
Wow.
case everybody wants to know that, yeah. And then Victoria Mahoney, she actually is the one that did a Queen Sugar, Grey's Anatomy, American Crime, Lovecraft Country, because she's the type of producer and director that actually take on projects that people don't see that often, and projects that actually challenges people to think.
Mm.
So y'all check her out, Victoria Mahoney.
Okay. Hey, all great talents, all great. Yeah, that's an amazing lineup from all of y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wrap it up in a minute, but I do want to bring it back to Mr. Crenshaw for 1 second. Co-treatment writer. Uh, is it anyone or anything that I would say? A lot of times when you are, I guess you can be a co-treatment writer or a writer or a producer, and a lot of times the way that the industry works, we don't get the credit that we deserve for some things. Have you ever encountered anything of that nature?
Well, I did mention that I helped co-write the treatment for Stump the Yard 13 years ago at this point. And of course, the way that the deal was structured, my cousin, Robert Provitt, was the main guy to handle the deal. And so for me, not getting the credit, it still fueled me to continue and to come back and to write such a project, Girls on the Yard, from that experience. So even though that particular deal uh, from Stump the Yard did not give me a name, though I did not get credit for it, I'm still able to say that I helped write it. You know what I mean? And take the experience from it. and having people like Columbus Short to say, "Hey, I remember you. I remember we were back in the green room." And I said, "Okay, well, somebody remembered." So that was definitely letting everybody know. Yeah, I helped write it. I helped write it. You know, that was 15 years ago. You know what I mean? But then it was London that showed me something the other day. I said, "Man, you think this is going to be a problem because of the credit?" And he showed me some things. It's like, man, and it's true. It happens in the industry all the time.
Oh
Either
yeah.
lyricists, artists that contribute to songs and they don't get credit. Who was it? It was Ray Parker Jr. He
Hmm.
wrote an amazing song that became a huge hit, and the guy never gave him credit. He never got his name on the album. So it happens often that people contribute to projects and don't get the official credit.
Absolutely. And you did, you did hit on it earlier. You did speak about being the co-treatment writer, but I did want to circle back around
Yeah.
because a lot of people, they don't understand how in depth that can go.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that anything that you do, anything that you put your time, your effort into, you should get your credit for it.
Yeah.
And here at a Historically Black Sense, we're going to give you your credit. We're going to give you your flowers today for that. So we're going to give you your flowers for that.
Appreciate it, man.
So we're going to get ready to wrap it up. But if there's anything that anyone wants to leave with the audience, please do it now. This has to be in no particular order. Just hop in if there's anything that you want to leave them with.
This is London. I would just say one thing. It's not too late to start following your dreams. That's one thing I would say. I used to be a college professor. And like I was telling my colleagues earlier today, I said I was talking and sitting in front of that class and realized that book that I was teaching out of was never going to change unless I changed it. So I started taking instrumental steps and try to change the book that I was actually teaching out of. I only got so far, until they said, "No, you're going above, you're going overboard." But I was trying to make my class more modern. But sometimes when you're teaching in college environments, as you all know, especially the people that's went to college, to where some of those textbooks are outdated. And if you can't change those up and make people more interested in your subject, you have to find other things to do. So I would always say, I decided to go back to film school and finish film school. That's basically what I did after I left teaching at a major university. And the good thing about that now is that I'm actually working with college in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Stillman College. So I'm going to be working. Okay. I'm going to be doing some film productions out there as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And we look forward to seeing, any other projects that you have coming out. I can't think of any other way to word it because, like you said, a producer is a 24-hour job. So I know you constantly have things going. But, hey, definitely, that's a great note right there. It's never too late. Follow your dreams regardless. Is there anything else that anyone else wants to, chime in with?
Well, I would just like to encourage all HBCUs to tap in within this project. We would love to have the support of all of the HBCUs around the country because we are in fact representing those institutions within this movie. Representation is very important, and so we want to just bring some great light and have the support of all of the alumni around the country and abroad.
That's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, if no one else wants to say anything, anybody, all hearts and minds clear. All right, cool. Now, I will say this. I just want to have me an invitation to the premiere, but
we got you.
I want an invitation to the premiere.
Yeah,
but
we give you a +1 as well.
No doubt.
You know what? I like y'all.
You locked in, man. You locked in.
I like y'all. Definitely, I want to thank you all for taking the time out to speak to the audience, for allowing me into you all's space to ask you these questions, to get into the brains, and to talk about this amazing movie, because I know it's going to be amazing. Thank you for allowing me to be able to just chat with you all about it and have an open cipher about it. So once again, I thank you all. I look forward to seeing the movie as well as anything else that you guys have going on. Stay in touch. Stay in contact with the page at HBCU Sense. And hey man, thank y'all for coming on.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you. All right, bye bye.
Yes, thank
All right,
you.
thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.